Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. Hi YouTube. As many of you probably already know, I am really excited about SpongeBob SquarePants The Search for SpongeBob this coming weekend. Unfortunately for me, yesterday, because the theater was sold out on opening night, I couldn't get a ticket. It's quite difficult, so I'm hoping to go on Sunday. I'll let you guys know how that goes. I've always been a really big fan of SpongeBob SquarePants, which is why I can really feel how Meg Donnelly really thinks about SpongeBob SquarePants, because I feel the same way about SpongeBob. There's just something about how funny the guy is, how he wants to be friends with everybody, surrounded with people that he loves, and how he's such a huge inspiration to millions of people. And just seeing how crazy everybody is about SpongeBob SquarePants this coming weekend, having the chance to spend Christmas watching the SpongeBob SquarePants The Search for SpongeBob movie, as difficult as a title that is to run off the back of your tongue, it's really amazing to me, because I remember 20 years ago when the first ever SpongeBob SquarePants movie was released. It was simply titled The SpongeBob SquarePants Movie, and I remember being a huge fan of that one. And then of course came SpongeBob SquarePants Sponge Out of Water, SpongeBob SquarePants Sponge on the Run, and now this one, the sequel. Really excited about it. But, you know, when it comes to Meg Donnelly and how much she loves these characters, how can you not find time in appreciating that and loving Meg Donnelly for that? Because when it came to Zombies and Descendants, all she ever wanted to do was be a part of a musical. And Zombies was the perfect musical for her because she fit into the role of Addison Wells more perfectly than anybody else ever could have done it. I think that she did a great job. Herself and Milo Manheim obviously knew they were going to be a part of something special, and they had meant to be a part of something special for their entire lives. And the chemistry and the friendship and the relationship they had and they shared in together made this movie worth watching over 1,000 times. It has been a story that has forever and always remained with us, and it's been a story that has been deserving of being celebrated however many times you have caught yourself watching this one. And I think everybody's been caught watching this one at least once or twice in their lifetime, because it was a beautiful love story. I mean, what more needs to be said about it? It is a beautiful love story, regardless of how critics may feel about this one, choosing never to give it much of a chance. I wanted to be one of those guys that wanted to take exception to the Zombies franchise and give it more of a chance than anyone else had ever done before, because I really do believe that moments like these are only ever meant to happen once in every lifetime. So because moments like these are only ever meant to happen once in every lifetime, they should be celebrated. And they should be honored, like many of you have been doing, because many of you became the best of friends over Descendants and Zombies, and some of you have remained friends for forever and always because of Descendants and Zombies. I've known people who have been friends for at least over the last decade, and they're still the best of friends to this very day. So because they're still the best of friends to this very day, that just goes to show just how much of an impact Descendants and Zombies has forever and always left on our hearts, that has forever and always remained with us as fans of this franchise. You know, years ago, I could never remember a franchise where people bonded over it as much as what they did for Descendants and Zombies. I think the closest resemblance to this would have had to have been Twilight or Pokemon. And, you know, I can't ever say I was the biggest fan ever of Pokemon, but I get how people felt about it. Because, of course, you could collect hundreds of cards. I remember there was a time in the Pokemon Legacy where you could only collect over 150 cards. And, you know, I tried to get into the whole Pokemon thing. A lot of girls were getting into collecting Pokemon cards because they had the biggest crushes in the world on some guys they were going to school with. I could never do. Do you guys remember how your next door neighbor would probably try to collect Pokemon cards to, you know, let you know that he had a crush on you or he felt differently about you? You know, I remember that phase and how crazy everybody was about collecting Pokemon cards, but that was something I could never get into. But now we have Descendants and Zombies merch, which is flying off the shelves everywhere, from Descendants and Zombies coloring books to the Descendants and Zombies dolls, the hoodies, the sweaters, the t-shirts, which I would love to have sponsor the show. When I get monetized, that's the first thing I'm going after, are these Descendants and Zombies hoodies and sweaters and t-shirts to give you guys for free on this channel. So if you could hit my subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated, because I can get you free stuff when I get monetized, which isn't actually that far off. But you know something? Even with how people strive to become monetized on YouTube, this is never the reason why I've been here. I've been here from the very beginning because I was a fan, and I wanted to share in my experiences of being a fan with each and every one of you, because I think that when you speak from the perspective of a fan, you really get how a fan feels who is watching your video. Because somewhere out there in that really big universe, because this universe is only so big, even with how big this universe seems to be on times, there is a Descendants of Zombies fan out there who wants to watch the best Descendants of Zombies videos that he or she can find. And I've just wanted to be that guy on the other end of the microphone every single time, telling you how I truly felt about Descendants of Zombies, with ratings of 6.4 and 6.2, with less than 0.2 of a percentage separating the two franchises. These franchises have come such a long way in such a short amount of time, and if there was one guy who was going to celebrate these franchises with each and every one of you, it would have to be yours truly. When it came to a trio and a friendship, I think we all think about Kylie Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner, and Malia Baker, because they fit perfectly together. They were just like glue, and they've seemingly become inseparable. And the chemistry between these three is really off the charts, and it never ceases to blow my mind. I can never seem to say enough nice things about Kylie Cantrell, how Kylie Cantrell is a very emotional person. I get that about Kylie. I've often appreciated that about Kylie, and I forever and always had Kylie's back when it came to these critics. And I will forever and always support Kylie Cantrell for every fan of Kylie Cantrell who I have out there who has subscribed to this YouTube channel, because there are many Kylie Cantrell fans and far more Kylie Cantrell fans than ever given credit for. I say this because Kylie Cantrell has come a long way, more so than any other Disney star of this generation. And if there was somebody that you're really going to put at the forefront of promoting everything Disney had happening for it of this generation, it would have to be Kylie Cantrell. While people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson have said goodbye to their Descendants roots and their Descendants classic characters Mel and Evie, refusing to reprise them, and forever and always have closed the door on having anything to do with the Descendants project moving forward, I think the heart and the dedication that we've seen from Kylie Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner, has never ceased to blow our minds and left us in a state of amazement, really. I think these are moments that will forever and always be cherished by every Descendants fan, because I don't care who you are. I know you're a great person, and you felt inspired by the Descendants of Zombies franchises. You felt, for perhaps the first time in your life, that you were a part of something special, and Descendants of Zombies would go on to captivate you for its powerful music, its powerful script, because everybody had a favorite song when it came to Descendants of Zombies, no matter if it was If Only, Space Between, Rotten to the Core, Ways to Be Wicked, Chillin' Like a Villain, Red, Life is Sweeter When You Are. For me, the song that got it done and came through for me was Life is Sweeter When You Are. And I'll tell you why Life is Sweeter When You Are became my favorite Descendants song off any Descendants score. It had everything to do with the emphasis of the characters that have been long forgotten, and just how much further kindness can really take a person in this lifetime. I have often said that Ruby Rose Turner is the person that has made me into a better person to this very day, and I will forever and always show Ruby Rose Turner the respect and give Ruby Rose Turner the credit that she has forever and always deserved for inspiring me to have become a better person, because I think that kindness can be traveled further in this lifetime, can really go the distance, and can really be put on display perhaps more than it ever has before. Because you think about how much kindness has really touched a person's heart, and it really, really helps a person out, helping them make sense of everything going on around them, something they probably can't make sense of going on in their own lives, and we see this every day. So I think that the more kindness that we can show to a person, let them know everything is going to be okay and just how much we love them, really makes a difference and leaves a significant imprint and impact on a person's life. I may just be saying this because I feel as if there are never enough kind people seen in this world, which I know do exist out there, or that I've never really seen enough people say the words I love you. I never really seem to hear those words a whole lot. So because I believe in it, I've just wanted to always be there to promote it. And I think this show has allowed me the opportunity to do just that, because along with talking about Descendants of Zombies, I too have wanted to be a part of a more kinder world. I have wanted to spread a message of kindness, and you guys, through your kindness and your dedication to this franchise, have helped me spread an emphatic message of kindness every single time that I've ever had the chance to upload a video on this YouTube channel. And I can never seem to say thank you enough for just being here from the very beginning. And the cool thing is, we still have so much of a long way to go and so much of a story to be excited about. When we talk about Descendants 5 Book Wonderland, the storylines, the possibilities for these storylines are truly endless. And I think that no matter if you're a fan of Alice in Wonderland characters, Cinderella characters, even Princess and the Frog and Encanto characters, there is so much of a chance for new storylines to be created and more storylines for people to be more excited about than perhaps ever before. I was always a fan. I may be just saying this because I was always a fan of Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland. And I remember reading the Alice in Wonderland books. I remember back probably about 50 years ago, the first Alice in Wonderland book was first released a couple of days before Christmas. I actually believe it was released on Christmas Eve. It made it in time to bookstores before Christmas Eve, and everybody was buying it because they were so excited about how this character could travel down a rabbit hole, meet all these wonderful characters, just you could fall instantly in love with the tale of Alice in Wonderland. And when it was retold by Disney many years later, you couldn't help but fall in love with it. So because it was just a beautiful story through and through, and there were so many books focusing on specific characters like the Mad Hatter and even Jabberwockies, when you think about the Descendants franchise, there is still so much more for this franchise to offer. While people will lead us to believe all the time and try to convince us and persuade us that Descendants of Zombies need to stop making movies and be a part of something special, I think they can be a part of something special for just a little while longer, because we have so many people who have felt inspired, who are excited about the Worlds Collide Tour reviews, who are excited about Worlds Collide Tour Leg 2 happening in late 2026, and they deserve to have some semblance of hope in their own lives, and I've just wanted to be a part of that. Because if I was going to say anything about the Worlds Collide Tours in terms of a reviewer and posting a review, it was going to be something nice. And I think that's why people have fallen in love with my reviews about Descendants of Zombies. Why they may have seemed a bit out there and far different from every other review of Descendants of Zombies that you guys have watched, because who out there would move into a house near a soda plantation and a chemical plant that could explode at any given moment? Trust me, guys, listening to iHeartRadio every night, living your life in fear of that is an entirely different experience, and I wish you guys could experience it the way that I have. I've seriously thought about this house being haunted. I hear a lot of banging and creepy noises in the nighttime, really spooky things happening around me. But, that's what's so fun about creating this channel, is that you can have fun with the people watching it. You can share with them your predictions about mermaids and sirens for the Zombies franchise and what kind of title will probably be attached to Zombies 5, regardless of what the title is or the supernatural force that we're going to see encountered in Seabrook. I think this is going to be one to be really excited about, because I've always had a greater appreciation for mermaids, as you've known for many years, and because I've had a greater appreciation for mermaids and I've read many mermaid tales, and I found time in appreciating that, I'm really excited about what mermaids could offer to this franchise, because I really believe they are going to bring it to life in a way that nobody else has ever been able to bring it to life before, because we've seen werewolves, we've seen aliens, we've even seen vampires, so because we've seen just about everything. Even when you talk about vampires, there are so many opportunities to create a new chapter for this one, and I'll tell you why, because there's so much of a history that is attached to vampires, even the legendary Dracula. You guys know there have been over 200 adaptations of Dracula retold over the last at least quarter of a century. It's amazing. I've seen so many vampire movies and vampire-inspired TV shows that have really gone the distance, because for the simple reason of how you could create storylines and keep on distributing them and retelling them 1,000 times over. And those old tales you never seem to get tired of. I remember a show years ago. It was animated. It was called Freaky Stories. It happened to a friend of mine. And even though the series was only episodes that ran for about 22 to 25 minutes long, each short cartoon in that franchise gave you a greater appreciation for just how mysterious some tales could be told. And then, of course, you had Tales from the Crypt Keeper, both the live action and the reanimated series. So when you think about a series like Zombies, and you think about how far it's come, don't you think that it could go a little bit further? And don't you think that someone's imagination could see an expansion because of just how much of a supernatural lore could be attached to these worlds and these characters? I think we've all, in some way or some form, in some capacity, had a greater appreciation taken away from Zombies, and especially Descendants, because I think more people fell quicklier in love with Descendants than ever before. And it had everything to do, obviously, with your primary characters and your primary focus coming from Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, and for sure Cameron Boyce, who will forever and always be missed. But I think that this new generation is a generation that we very quickly felt captivated by and very quickly fell in love with. And now Freya Skye and Malika Burton coming into this franchise from out of nowhere, creates more storylines, more of a chance of a love story to be told, more beautiful than ever before, perhaps. And I, for one, am really excited about it because I think that we can never seem to say enough nice things about these new generational stars like Kylie Cantrell, Freya Skye, Malia Baker. I mean, they still have a long way to go. Even with how extensive some of the resumes seem to be, like Ruby's resume, Coop and Cammy Ask the World, Eden, Fuller House, and now Descendants. I mean, one could be led to believe that Ruby Rose Turner's story was, far from being told and completed. She just kind of seemingly parted ways with the franchise because of more career opportunities being presented to her. But I think that if you gave Ruby a chance to really re-emerge and reintroduce her character to a whole new generation of fans because more and more people are falling in love with this franchise than perhaps ever given credit for, I think we still have a long way to go. So because we still have a long way to go, we have even more of a reason to be excited for that unforeseeable future and to discuss that future with so many fans of Descendants and Zombies who I look forward to meeting. So because we still have so much to talk about, I think that this conversation should never have to be over, and more people should be given more of a reason than ever before to believe in something special, because we've all wanted to be a part of something special. I think we've all wanted to be a part of High School Musical when it was at the heights of its popularity years ago. We've always wanted to be a part of a High School Musical production for its music. It had nothing to do with its story. It was just how powerful the music was and how the music could always succeed and come through with telling a powerful story, because oftentimes when emotions are too high for musicals like Wicked and even Harry Potter, they go to music to tell the story. And it really helps. I think music has always had a way of healing people. No matter who your favorite artist was, music always had a way of healing you, no matter what you may have been going through, whatever you couldn't make sense of going on around you in your own lives. It was a beautiful way of healing, and I think that the music in Descendants and Zombies unquestionably have healed a lot of people and really allowed people to really put their lives into perspective and make more sense of everything going on around them, which is something that I have felt very honored to be a part of. To have the chance to host this show gives you a feeling and a sense of appreciation unlike anything else you've ever had a chance to be a part of in your own lives. I've not only had the chance to talk about Descendants and Zombies, I've had the chance to meet so many wonderful people who have drawn inspiration from these franchises. Your favorite characters, your favorite moments that have made you a fan of, for whatever reasons you were a fan of Descendants and Zombies, I'm here to tell you guys, there's nothing wrong with being a fan of Descendants and Zombies because this story is far from over. And who knows what characters we are going to see drawing inspiration from Disney franchises who have yet to come into this franchise. Because I know there are people out there that will say they can't see it getting past Descendants 6 and of course Zombie 6, but I really do believe that we can go further with these franchises than perhaps ever before, because even if it isn't Zed or Addison or Victor or Nova, it will be somebody who will carry on this franchise and will carry it on in a very effective way. And it will give us more of a reason than ever before to be excited about that unforeseeable future. Because I don't know about you guys, but I am really excited to find out what the future has in store and to discuss it with each and every one of you. Because it's one thing to, pre-write things to talk about on the YouTube channel, never knowing what you're going to say or what you're going to do on your YouTube show. But when you never prepare anything and you never know what you're about to say every single time you hit record, that's what makes every video that you ever upload so fun. And that's what makes everybody love your videos so much. Because there is somebody out there that loves Descendants and Zombies videos so much that they will forever and always support everything that you have to say about your favorite characters. And all these moments that have made you a fan of Descendants and Zombies. I never ever thought this YouTube channel would have nearly 4,000 people having subscribed to it. I never ever thought this would be the most popular Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel in the world, but I have each and every one of you to thank for that, because you guys made this happen for me. You guys made this the most popular Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel in the world, and an experience in my life that I know that I will never ever forget. Even though that Descendants and Zombies has received its fair share of criticism, we have seen it through, and we have been able to outshine any amount of criticism that has been thrown the way of Kylie Cantrell, Freya Skye, Meg Donnelly, the list goes on. Because I can seem to never say enough, there's never enough time on this show for me to say what I want to say about these stars. And I try to, fit everything into a 20 or 25 minute long commentary. But even with how much detail I put and how much heart and dedication I approach every show with, I can never seem to really truly tell you guys how appreciative I am of these characters being in the moment with each and every one of us and sharing in something spectacular, because it's really been a spectacular time for every fan of a franchise. If you want to be a fan of a franchise, I think Descendants of Zombies is the franchise that you should take a chance on. Because when you take a chance on Descendants of Zombies and you win the hearts of every fan of Descendants of Zombies, you really got something special to be eternally grateful for. And it is something that I know, from my heart to yours, that I will forever and always remain eternally grateful for, because I have a passion for Descendants of Zombies unlike anybody else ever has, and that's why I can host the show and record hundreds of commentaries and upload them to this YouTube channel, our YouTube channel that we created together for every fan of Descendants of Zombies. So I'd just like to take this chance to say thank you so much for the love and support that you have shown every video that I've ever uploaded here on this YouTube channel. I never would have been able to do it without your love and support, which I hope you will continue to show for the foreseeable future, because we don't know what that future has in store. But that's what makes it such an exciting time to have been a fan of Descendants of Zombies. Thank you so much from wherever you're watching this video or from wherever you hear my voice this morning. It's been my honor to have been the host of the unofficial Descendants of Zombies podcast, which you have been watching, the latest episode of Jonathan Clarke Video Blogs. Thank you so much for watching. Be sweeter, everybody, because life is that much sweeter when all of us are, and kindness really does go further in a person's lifetime, and when you show that person that kindness, you really make a difference in everybody's lives. Thank you so much, guys. Stay calm and zombie on into that foreseeable future. We will keep this conversation going with new podcasts being uploaded all throughout today, which I hope you will join me for. Thank you so much for having watched this video.